Greetings, my fellow subjects. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Dwarf Fortress, Taming the Wilds. Episode 11, The Happy Baroness. Something that's important to note is they can't build into corners. The way you build is you have to be able to walk to an adjacent tile. So if you lay it out so that you're building into a corner, your dwarves won't physically be able to walk there, and therefore it will never get done. And they're not smart enough to know what order to build in, so you can't queue up everything all at once, or it won't work. And then some of these floorings didn't get done because there was material in the way, and they didn't pick up the material and move it out of the way. So I have to unpause or unsuspend it. Dwarves are very interesting, somewhat simple creatures at times. So resume and resume. I think those are the only missed parts. Alright, so have the instruments been moved? No. Not yet. Well, I'll just wait until they haul it. Shen Boo. So they're coming together, these little sub-temples. And then I'll dedicate it to whatever deity has the most believers, as that was voted on by you guys. These sub-temples are not going to... they're not going to have instruments, though. But I will start to practice engraving in them. So I'm going to try to train up some additional engravers. I think I, at present, only have one engraver. I'm going to try to get some other engravers. And the only engraver I have is like a novice. So he or she is not even great at it. Oh, so here's a good example. I built myself into a corner that is unreachable. So I have to break a piece of it to be able to get to this piece, which can't be pathed towards. So even after warning you that that happens, I did it. Instruments, please. Okay, I see 3. Ernit, Ross, Rushroll, and we're just waiting on the cob, the percussion instrument, to be hauled away. One of the cobs got moved. Did it get moved up here? Nope. Must be in transit or something. I'm not really sure where it is, but I'll track it down in a second. It is sitting in a box right there. I think actually one of the dwarves just grabbed it. So it's getting positioned, unless I'm mistaken. Nope. So that was a entertainer trying to petition to entertain people. I'm not ready to pull the trigger on that just yet. Yo, can someone move this cop? It's still in that box. Apparently. I don't even see it. All right, the temples are good. So let's dedicate them. First things first, the Temple of Halls is going to expand out like this to include the wings, except for not like that. Yep, so that's correct. Actually, the Temple of Halls is going to expand out this way as well to include this hallway. So the Temple of Halls leads to tombs directly. And then these new areas, because I'm, you know, I don't know, I care about the layout. I'm going to paint exactly where they are. So these new temples here, temple. Let's figure out what temple it's going to be. So a new temple. So the most believers, 12, 12, 14. 14 so far the highest. Yep, 14. It's going to go to the God of Mountains and Beauty. Adel Diamond Lathered the something. That's a hell of a name. So what I like to do is I'm going to say citizens only. So only people that believe, only our own people that specifically believe to Adel Diamond Lathered the Sweet Plays. Wow, that dude has a name. Let's rename the temple Temple of. So Temple of Mountain Beauty or something. Mountainous. Temple, no, not Temple Mountain. Temple of the Mountainous Beauty, maybe? Trying to find, I'm not good at naming stuff yet. Temple, the Mountainous Mountain of, oh my god. Temple, the Mountainous of Beauty. The Mountainous, what about? Temple of Beauty. I'm just gonna keep it simple. So here's the Temple of Beauty. And that was the right one. So then this is now a dedicated temple where our citizens that want to pray to Adel Diamond Lathered of the Sweet Plays can pray here. And that's 14 of the 26 people here believe in them. And people can believe in multiples, but then the other temple that we're going to do is one of high population belief as well. So let's paint this zone. And then I'm also going to want to add prayer altars in here as well. So this is a new temple. And for you guys, for next priority, start voting. Here it is. What do you think I should work on next? Now that I'm getting the temples done. So let's do Alad to the sun. Rather than Ostar, God of Death. We'll hold off on God of Death. In fact, God of Death might want a temple up here next to the tombs. I think that makes the most sense. So this is the Temple of the Sun. Temple of Sun. Cool. In terms of bars, I am going to do silver altars, because I don't have, like, gold, and I don't want to use my platinum like this. Well, I'll do copper altars for now. I'm cheap. The silver that I have might be better used in Warhammers, in my opinion. So copper altars for the sub-temples. Still 3 out of 4? Alright, whatever. Temple halls Congratulations, you're getting your instruments. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hope that the correct instruments gets hauled. For that to happen, I just need to keep the cob locked, I think. So the other instruments, I'm going to unlock so they can haul them. So that's the Urnut. I'll keep the cob locked. I don't even know where the other instruments are. How do I only have one Ross? I'm so confused. I have 2 Urnits, a Ross. Oh, yeah, I paused the completion of it. That's right. Ross and Rush Roll are now going to get assembled. So here we have the Urnut. Might it be... Maybe you're trying to chat with me in the chat. I don't... The thought I had is maybe the cob needs to be installed because it's so heavy. But I don't think that's a thing, but I don't know. Because I'm too inexperienced to know if that's a thing or not. I don't think that's a thing. Well, I'll just wait. If we have duplicate instruments that show up, it's fine. So I did mention that I wanted to try to engrave. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just engrave the current sub-temples that I have to improve their value, because my head temple is plenty valuable. It's already a temple complex. No, it's not anymore. No, it's a temple complex. Yeah. So it doesn't get much better than that. It's fine. Didn't the description say it was handheld? Let me check. Nah, it doesn't really say anything. It says stationary? How do I even put stationaries down? So constructions, walls, slate blocks. Maybe it's under furniture? I was looking at that. Oh, instrument. Yeah, there it is. So let's put the cob here. And see, we're learning. And then the other cob I have locked. So that means I need to change the chests to not contain a cob. So this chest, this coffer I'm going to get rid of. And then this coffer already has an Urnit, Ross, and Rush Roll. So it's already perfectly set up. So all I need to do is pull this chest out and put a cob down instead. So there it is, Cinnabar cob. It doesn't weigh too much. I'm surprised it's still handheld. Like, for reference, that's, what is it, 32 dwarf weight? I'm going to call it dwarf weight. Is equivalent to 2 steel breastplates. So, like, it's equivalent to, like, a breastplate and a shield or something. You know, it's carryable, in other words. Management will be the next goal. So let me wrap this up and then I'll kick off management. I did want to hire up some additional engravers. So my 2 stone cutter crafters are going to also be engravers. No, maybe Stockwood and Bomb Rack. So let's fix this. You and you. One's also a blacksmith. That's a little confusing. So there. These stone crafters, I'll allow them to engrave too. And I'm also going to allow them to stone cut. Oh, yeah, I still have that cob locked, don't I? There you go. Furniture, instrument. Yeah, you do know I unlocked it, right? I think they were currently hauling it, which is why it screwed up. So we have all 3 instruments represented here, plus the cob. And then as soon as whoever was hauling the cob is done hauling the cob, we'll put 4... Yep, there it is. 4 instruments in the tavern. Wonderful. Just how I wanted. I'm going to celebrate with extra booze. Checking on the soap maker. So I have at least 5 soap. Donkey and reindeer soap. So I have 18 soaps from all the tallow that I had. The other way to make soap is to build a screw press or millstone to mill seeds into oils, or to press plants into oils, and then make soap out of the oils rather than the tallow. So there's those 2 different paths to tallow. So you have a quern that can mill seeds, and you have a screw press that can press oils. Maybe I'll make one of each. So let me make a quern. Oops. Screw press. And I'll put the quern next to the soap maker. Again, these are not full-fledged districts. These are temporary. Like where I eventually will put them. Okay. And this is for citizens only. Sorry. So there's the screw press, and the screw press can press honey from honeycomb, liquid from fruit, liquid from paste, and also can press plants into a slurry to make sheets of paper. That's when you want to get, when you want scribes into... And there's a reason to do that. The reason I have a library in this game is visitors can come and write and copy books that they have, which contain knowledge, and you can read those choirs, those scriptures to learn. It's so if you have like a legendary axe dwarf come, he could go into your library and write down some things to learn about axe dwarfs, so that any new axe dwarfs can go in and just read those training manuals. I guess is how you can look at it. We're not there yet. That will be another community task sometime down the line. So so the horn's getting done now. That's like a millstone, and you can actually mill automatically too. So the other ways to mill would be from a windmill or a water wheel. So a windmill gets placed up on the surface, and wind blows the windmill around, and you can use the windmill to mill on a millstone, which is here, millstone. Well, I don't have one, but... And then a water wheel gets stuck in running water. So there's a few different ways to have running water. One, you can channel out... Because I only have a brook, which is very shallow. I could channel out a channel in the brook to make it deeper, and the water is running left to right, right to left, I don't even know. But the water is running in this brook, and as long as the brook is not frozen, the water wheel will turn. The other way to do it, and I can't do it on this map because I don't have aquifers. It's if you have aquifers. Aquifer is where there's water trapped underground in a, in an aquifer. You can, if you have like an aquifer that produces water, you can have that water pool and then have an underground water channel to drain into another aquifer. So an aquifer serves two purposes, sort of. It produces water, and it also can absorb water. So it does both. And it's, I read that it's a little bit harder to use light aquifers in this current version because they don't produce as much water as they used to. But hypothetically, like if you have a heavy aquifer and a light aquifer, you can have the heavy aquifer produce a lot of water and then let it channel down and drain into a light aquifer, and all that water in between you can use for water wheels. So those are some ways to have automatic power, I guess. So here's the Quarren. That does remind me that it wouldn't be a terrible idea for me to get some honey. Do I have hives? No, I don't have any hives. So let's get some hives. What is it called? It is... I forget what it's called. Rock hive. Make it out of... shale. I'm only going to do like 3. But so that we can have honey for whatever we want. Can't confirm your attempt at filling a cistern with a light aquifer is going very slow. Yeah, I read that light aquifers were kind of nerfed in the Steam version. I haven't bothered to confirm that or not, but... So counted as hearsay. I'm officially a Baron. I'm a Baroness. So if we take a look up here, happy little tree, as a result of being a Baroness, wants a private dining room, a private tomb, decent quarters, decent study, and those needs are not being met. You guys did vote for management needs, so after I finish this temple project, first order of business, and I think the temple project is pretty much on autopilot now. There's not actually functionally anything for me to really do at this point. Is going to be meeting our Baron's demands. The noble annoyances begin, yes. So as your culture becomes wealthier and more populous, there will be additional demands put on you to provide these things. The demands of a study, a bedroom, a dining room, and a tomb max out at some point, but then there's additional demands. Like this one right now is a happy little tree wants me to make 2 shields. It is a demand of hers. So let's do that. Armor, steel, shield. Armor, steel, shield. Knowing that I'm going to use these shields eventually with my military, might as well keep them up. Doesn't hurt. If you ignore that, it will upset them, but big deal. Sometimes you just ignore them. And then sometimes they also will have demands that are like ridiculous. And those are probably best to be ignored. Just my 2 cents. Aye. Treats for the puppies. I'm going to be blue for a bit. So one thing I wanted to check to help sort our things. I have hematite and limonite, cassiterite, a lot of bitu coal and lignite. So let's process the bitu coal and lignite. Because I've been so focused on the temple project that I've let other things lapse. I could have a infinite do bitu coal and lignite in my work orders, but I don't want more canceled orders constantly. And the way the infinite work orders, I believe, don't quote me, but I believe the way it works is if you make it infinite, it never ends. So if you wanted to always I'll demo it. If I did a work order like lignite, make coke from lignite, and I did a 0, it will never check its conditions. It will always just try to make lignite every day. However, if I did like a make 999, which is a lot, and then did the condition of only do it when lignite is greater than 0, then it will only try to make lignite when there is lignite, but on that day, because you're probably never going to actually process 999 lignite, that is a close to do it forever, but also runs checks. So that's what that would look like. And I could do that with the bit2 coal as well. So do 999, but only when bit2 coal is greater than 0. And that way it's not trying to do it even when it doesn't exist. However, the reason why I did the infinite shear animal and milk animal, and this isn't necessarily the most efficient, is because there is not a condition where it's like, doesn't an animal need to be sheared or milked? Maybe there is. I just don't know of it, but that's why I set it up to just do it infinitely. Because I'm ignorant of a better solution. Alright. I have one of those shields already made. Nice. So the current priority right now is make a barony rooms. Make barony rooms. So in order to keep Happy Little Tree happy, we're going to need to set up an office, a bedroom, a dining room, and a tomb. And ideally, in my opinion, you want these rooms to be able to be upscaled regularly. Because if our wealth goes up, little Baroness Happy Little Tree is going to become a countess, right? And then she'll have a whole new subset of higher level requirements. So if you set it up for it to be a modest bedroom and tomb and dining room and all that, you're just going to have to rework it again and again and again until it maxes out to be, luxurious, or the Dwarf Fortress equivalent of luxurious. So in that regard, let's set that up. I think what I'm going to do for her, or for anyone that requires these titles, because it's not just Happy Little Tree. There's other people that are going to require other positions. So, eventually when I have like messengers and militia captains and sheriffs and champions and all that stuff, they're also going to have their own requirements. What I'm going to do is have there be sort of like a royal area or a nobility area. I just have to decide exactly where I want to put that. I think I am going to put it one story lower underneath the bedrooms. Because as a meme of, or maybe 2 stories lower, so I can have 2 layers of bedrooms. A meme of Dwarf Fortress is that nobles are scum, and I'm going to continue with that meme. They're scum because they make a lot of demands and they're very fussy. So they're going to be like, make me shields. And you're like, what? And then they're like, put a gold statue in my office. And you're like, come on, man. Like, we're poor. I mean, they don't make those kind of demands until you're not poor. But that's how it feels, at least. You know what? I'm going to keep the skulls. I was going to make totems out of the skulls, but sometimes strange moods require skulls, so it's useful to have them on hand. So that you can make skull thrones. Because I don't want to spend too much time on appeasing our new Baroness, I'm going to put this as a 1 priority. So it gets done quicker. And then it's going to look something... Oh, the other thing that I've been meaning to do is, and let's go ahead and do this before it gets too late. I mentioned really early on this stream that wider stairwells are going to be way more efficient later on because of the way that stairwell queuing works. So I'm going to go ahead and widen our stairwells now before it's, before I forget. So actually, the stairwell from the main hall up to the temple is going to need to be fixed. I'm going to actually change the way that this is laid out entirely. In fact, maybe what I'll do is have it be, instead of carved stairwells, I'll actually have it just be built stairwells. So leaving the center stairwell intact and building stairwells out of like a material that I want them made out of. So let's see. Construction, stairs. No. Nope, this layer needs to be mined out. I'll make it out of like slate blocks. Shell blocks. I keep calling it slate because of RimWorld. Oh, and there it is. There's another mandate. We're not allowed to export ballista parts. Well, that's good, because I don't have any. I also don't have a siege workshop, so... bit of a problem if she's ever like, hey, make ballista parts. I would get one quickly. Okay, there's the new stairs. And then down here, the idea here... well, if I could find it. The idea here is that this is just a hallway out to mimic sort of the bedroom layout above. And then the barony... the barony area will be, like, here. So this will be the Baron's office. And then the Baron's office will lead to a private crypt, a private bedroom, and a private dining room. So the office will be in the middle. And then off of this, the other people, the other nobles, will have their own sort of whatever needs that they require. But the barons will be the sort of in the front. So, that's the plan. And I'll just because rectangular rooms can be boring, I'll have these be designed. Maybe I'll have the tomb in the back here, and then bedroom and dining room or something like that. Ooh. Weird on my eyes. Alright. We can stop brewing. I have a lot of brew now. Still haven't fixed those negative moods. The ones that are the most moody. But like most people are actually pretty happy if you look at it. We have 20 people that are above neutral. 3 people that are neutral and 3 that are below neutral. So other than those 2 cranky pants, I'm doing pretty good. And the cranky pants have had really nice times recently. I don't know. I'm inexperienced. I have a hard time bringing the people that are most moody out of their moods, especially Shem, who's just finds reasons to be mad. You can't fix that, in my opinion. Does more and more like the real life? Yeah, it definitely feels like that too. So there we go. We have our shale stairs, and it matches the rest of the mood of the fortress. So I'm gonna that center spire I'm gonna do shale as well. shale block. Knowing that I'm about to do the nobility rooms, let's continue with shale stone or shale block cutting. So that I have plenty of shale blocks to be able to design the noble room. And I'm going to hotkey this to F4. F5 was the... Ooh, yeah. You can see all the mining that we've done. I'll keep auto mining out the... Yeah, I'll just auto mine everything. I think this is mostly lignite and some gems and limonite. So we'll lay down some flooring. I'd also, I probably don't need to tell you guys because most of you have been watching long enough, but you absolutely don't need to go to this painstaking detail for aesthetics, right? Like, this is just a personal preference. The traditional meta would just be like smoothing everything, damned be whatever materials that are in the walls or whatever. I just want to take the time to make it aesthetically pleasing. And hopefully that is appreciated, but if it isn't, well, too bad. It's my fortress. I can have it be as pretty as I want. So now that the floors are going in, I'll mine out the walls. Oop, that shouldn't be on auto. But it's auto because it's gypsum, interestingly. So we're going to have a lot of plaster powder once this project is done. Some of it's shale, some of it's gems, but most of it's plaster. Okay, there we go. Isn't smoothing more beautiful? No. Smoothing and built floors are slightly better than smoothing, and then after that, both can be engraved, so it depends on the skills of the engravers. I did mention this early on in the stream. It used to be that you couldn't engrave built stuff, but you can now. So the meta of smoothing is better is no longer true. The problem is most of the documentation of Dwarf Fortress is, is in regards to the like 20 years that it was a ASCII and tile game and not the Steam release, and that's why it's outdated. But yeah, here's a great example, right? I'm engraving this block floor. Perfect example. Whereas in the ASCII version, this was not possible. You would not have been able to engrave the stone floor. And one of the advantages I have is I'm so new to the game that, like, I'm learning the Steam version. It's my first version. So I don't have any of the outdated knowledge of Dwarf Fortress as it was since 2006. I only know current Dwarf Fortress and its current rule set, and its current rule set is different, and it throws a lot of veterans for a loop, I think. Like why are you building floors for an expensive room? Well, because, it's a thing now. Oh, before we actually mine this, because I don't want them terraforming in this level, I'm going to make sure it's a regular mine so we don't just chase the gypsum forever, because this whole floor seems to be mostly gypsum. Yeah, I don't have any bad habits. I don't have any good ones either. It cuts both ways, right? It's definitely don't have any good habits. Let's put the offer place up here. I don't even... Here? A building present? Yep, okay. So, in terms of the levels, smooth is the first pass, and then you can engrave upon it. So, Cavern floors is just like mined out, right? It's rough, it's nasty. Smooth is looking nicer. And then on top of smooth, you can engrave smooth stuff, or you can engrave built stuff, like this. Both can be engraved upon. And that would be chiseling out finer details. Did altars get placed? They haven't, but, well, they did just literally now. Or for one of them, at least. So this temple is open. Temple of the Sun. Dedicated to Alad. Block walls are already considered smooth because I can't smooth them. I'm smoothing them. You might be... There's a difference between block walls and rough walls. So on top of that, let me explain a little bit further. There's two types of walls to build. There are shale walls using stone, and then there's shale block walls. So these are shale block walls, which is why they're engraved. You can't engrave rough walls. You can engrave block walls. So if I built this temple with using shale and not shale blocks, I couldn't further engrave it. So if you want it really, really nice, turn the stone into blocks first, and then you can engrave the blocks. So here is an example of that. These walls are detailed shale block walls, meaning that I took shale, I cut the shale into blocks at a stone cutter, and then I built the blocks into walls, and then I engraved the walls. There's so many levels of processes, but as a result, you can see, like, engraved on the wall is an image of a quiver by Zan Ishmas, right? Like, these are very fancy. Can dwarves convert over to other religions? I don't know. The veterans in the chat, I'm sure, know. That's a very good question. I'm going to start to allow furniture into the overflow because my furniture stockpile is like full. And the doors in the temple are just like overflowing. Yeah, blocks are pretty much always better. Yeah, and that's why I'm doing block everything here. So that the rooms look nice and they're also very valuable. So this is a relatively small temple, and it's somewhat valuable. I mean, if I wanted the value to go up more, I could put an artifact in there or something like that. Put some expensive thing on display. Or just things on display. Or statues. You know, you can add statues to it. So we are still doing coke and bitu. Yeah, we're still coked out of our minds here. As soon as we're done with the coke and lignite that I have set up, I will queue up, which is going to be tough because I keep mining it out. Wow, there's a lot of native platinum. That's cool. We have tons of magnetite, more lignite, tons of limonite, so we'll be doing a lot of smelting. So you can see the layout. It's kind of like a clovery type thing, or maybe you can think of it as a key, because the dude has the keys to the city. So let me go through the painstaking process of laying out block walls. If there's like a way to build the walls out of the same material that I am not doing it right, like, let me know in chat, but I don't know of a faster way to do this if you want to specify the material. It's one of the things I mentioned, which is like, I wish there was just like a use the last material that I used. But as far as I know, no such shortcut exists. Short of stockpiling all of my shell blocks in the area, and then making sure that I'm using the closest material, which happens to be the shell blocks because I stockpiled them there. I guess that would be the way to do it, but that's an extra step that I'm not taking. But I suppose that would be a good one. If, just to demo that, what that would look like is something like this, where I create a stockpile. The other issue is I have a bunch of gypsum here. So I need to haul the gypsum away and haul the shale away. So I'm not going to bother, because it's just going to take me more time. Because then they're just going to be using whatever local gypsum and shale there is, and that's going to look all wrong. Holding shift? I could try that. I don't think it... Oops. I don't think it works, though. Because I've thought to do that before. Yeah, no, I have to repick the material every time. So you know what? I kind of like the these cutouts here. I'm gonna leave them in as part of the office because I can put like armor stands on them or something, chests, something like that. But yeah, this is all the work required to make the Baron happy or Baroness happy. So you can see why the joke of Dwarf Fortress is that. Nobles are bottom feeders because it's a considerable amount of privilege that they demand. The purple makes it royal. Yeah, I mean, if I at some point I can always come back and rework this and make this look royal purple or something like that. Of course, they're just a Baroness, but you know, if they climb higher, maybe that will be needed. Make the quarters in the Cinnabar mine. The Mad Hatter Baroness. Alright, we're almost done with this. And then I'll have you guys vote on other... actually, have you vote on the next priority. If you want more management, you can vote for more management. But if you want me to change it up, I could change it up. There's not a lot of time left in the stream, but there's enough to put a significant dent in another task, I think. So. You're the boss. All right. So the stinky royal that we have is going to have an office, bedroom, dining room, and tomb full of gypsum, because I don't have anywhere to put the gypsum at the moment, which I just find very funny. But yeah, here we go. Let's start this. So meeting area. This area here is going to be El Tomb. So accept it, and I'm going to call it Barony Tomb. And it's going to be a tomb. Oh, I screwed that up. Let me undo that. This is a tomb zone. No, not multi. A tomb zone. Except Barony Tomb. Then stick the coffin in there. Done. And then up top we'll have the bedroom. So bedroom. And you guessed it, is the Barony bedroom. And that way, like, if our Baroness dies, I don't have to rename it. Barony bedroom. And I don't think that she has a significant other, but I'll put 2 bedrooms in there. And then down below is the Barony dining room. And we will put 2 shale coffers in there. And 2 tables, 2 thrones. Again, so that if they have a spouse, their spouse is accommodated. In fact, one could make the argument that we should do that with the tomb too, but, you know, the spouse, we'll just throw them in the lava when we're done with them. And then the last one is the office. And this is this room, minus the two corners. Oop, oop. Barony office. And then the office, the spouse won't be working in the office. The office is for the Baron or Baroness only. Put furniture in there. So the tomb is going to be assigned to Happy Little Tree. The bedroom to Happy Little Tree. I'm going to wait for the dining room until it has a table or throne. All right. Then this is going to be assigned to Happy Little Tree. And then the other thing I have to do is I have to go through and remove Happy Little Tree from the other bedroom because she has two bedrooms now and two offices. So if I scroll back up, there is this office that was a temporary one for her. Nuke it. And then I also have to go through the bedrooms here and get her off of this bedroom as well. Because she was put into bedroom 3. But I'll put Papos of whatever your name is in bedroom 3, the visiting dude, so that he doesn't have to sleep in the dorm. So if I take a look at her demands, she wants 1 cabinet, 1 armor rack, and 1 weapon stand. And the quarters and tomb and yeah, a bunch of the things need to be better, but that's because they're not engraved. So get engraving. Whoa, maybe put it as a 1. But actually, before we engrave, let's put the furniture down because it's going to be really hard to figure out what the hell I'm doing otherwise. So weapon rack in the front hallway, and armor stand in the front hallway, and then I don't know if I have any cabinets, but if I do, nope, I need to make a cabinet. So cabinets are actually one of those things that I'm likely to make a bunch of. So I'm going to put a rock cabinet queue in here to make them recurring. Oops. What do I keep doing? Make them out of shale. Thank you for tuning in to Dwarf Fortress Taming the Wilds, which originally streamed live on Twitch January 3rd. If you have any feedback or questions for me, please let me know in the comments below, but also keep in mind that this is a no backseating series. If you'd like to discuss this game, please join Discord instead. Rhodamont.com or the description of this video have a link to Discord. If you would like to join my live streams, Rhodamont.com also has a link to Twitch, as well as my countdown timers to upcoming streams and my schedule. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I'll catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow dwarves.